Morning, my name's Isabel and I worship at Holy Trinity Church, Formby. And I'm here this morning to bring you a reading and a short reflection on a very familiar story. So the reading's taken from Luke chapter 15, starting at verse 11. Jesus continued, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me my share of the estate.' So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country and squandered his wealth in wild living. After he'd spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, 'How many of my father's hired men have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired hands.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to his father, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' And so they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.'" It's a very familiar reading, and I guess most of us have heard it from the perspective of the prodigal son, from the perspective of the brother, from the perspective of the father. We've all heard lots of lessons drawn out of it. But just at the moment, in lockdown, I've been very much preoccupied with my role as a parent. And so it's that parental aspect which really springs out to me this morning. Poor guy, he really can't do right for doing wrong. He tries to be loving to his children, he tries to give them equal opportunities, and one of them clears off. He must have been hurt by that. The anguish of not knowing where his son was or what was happening with him. That must have nagged away constantly, and then one day he comes back. Amazing joy. He's just in the middle of being happy about that, and the other son comes out and gives him a slap across the face. Poor guy. We have the privilege of calling God our Father, and we're not much better. And all down history, all through the Old Testament, we see the Israelites. God tries to do good for them, fulfills his promises to them. They turn his back. He gives them another chance. They turn their back again. And we do the same. We see it all around in our world. And I guess most of us as parents see that too. And I know the stresses of parenthood are different if you have a baby or a toddler or as they grow up. I know from seeing my mother when my brother's marriage broke up when he was 50 that those worries never go away. And we can't ever make it right for our children. And we can't ever provide all the answers. Maybe the one thing that we can draw from this story is that we've got to do what we have to do. We have to do what seems to us right at the time. And God will be gracious to that judgment. I found a delightful prayer written by a father of teenage sons. And that's like what I'd like to finish with this morning. And I give this out to all of you who are parents out there who maybe are also having a hard time. God, give to my children independent spirits, but not so much independence that they forget the needs of others. Freedom to go out into the world, but also the freedom to come home. Belief in themselves, but not to the extent that they ignore others. Make them work hard, but not to the exclusion of joy. Give them laughter, not to mock, but to affirm. And above all, give them tolerance of a parent who is human too. Through Jesus Christ, who also was a teenager once, and perhaps gave you, his father, a hard time too.